password I need.
Password?
Hand, face, space, surface.
Stop. Say the password. Hand, face, space, surface.
The password to help take back our world from Corona.
Hand, face, space, surface.
You are watching AYV Television.
Good evening, this is Primetime News on AYV Television and Radio. I am Elizabeth Mamo. Let's start with tonight's headlines.
After 223 years, Sierra Leone abolishes death penalty.
As a nation, we have today exorcised horrors of cruel past.
Ministry of Youth Affairs disburses over 900 million loans to 187 youth-led businesses.
Set the criteria and you allow people to do their job. Most times when you at the top trying to influence things, it gets cumbersome.
A National Election Watch gives Sierra Leone police 48 hours ultimatum to return phones of observers allegedly seized.
I want this to go to the Sierra Leone police that we are giving them 48 hours to retrieve our observers' phones.
Now for the full news.
After 223 years under the Death Penalty Act, President Julius Maada Bio has today abolished the death penalty in Sierra Leone by appending his signature and giving directives for it to be abolished from the law books. However, there were 7 death sentences commuted to the president in 2020 and 19 under the sentence of death by the end of 2020. Ransford Bemesiga was part of the signing ceremony of the abolition and filed in this report.
Today's move by President Julius Maada Bio to abolish the death penalty and capital punishment is part of fulfilling a personal campaign pledge. Sierra Leone's 1991 constitution had allowed the use of death penalty for aggravated robbery, murder, treason, and mutiny. Capital punishment will now be replaced with life imprisonment. The Fountain of Honor and President of the Republic of Sierra Leone disclosed.
As a nation, we have today exorcised horrors of cruel past. When I first proposed abolishing the death penalty in its entirety and for all capital crimes, there was wide skepticism, cynicism, and outright hostility. We will no longer execute fellow citizens for political retribution, for deterrence of crime, or for crimes. We believe that the act is unfair, disproportionate, and immoral. It brutalizes our values, our laws, and our conscience as a nation. That accords the highest respect for human life is unlikely to turn on itself. The Commission then recommends the immediate repeal by Parliament of all laws authorizing capital punishment, but of course, who had the spine or political will or strength, maybe dare to say, the bold vision to do it, completed the promise we made as a nation. 20 years on, the death penalty is finally and totally abolished in the Republic of Sierra Leone.
Chief Justice of the Judiciary of Sierra Leone referred to this move by the government as a relief for them as judges.
What is the effect of the abolition of the death penalty? In practical terms, it means judges will no longer be required to pronounce that gruesome sentence by first undressing with the removing of their wigs in place of a sinister black draper or cloth as head covering while pronouncing these words. Alex Tetekor, first accused, you will be taken to a place of execution where you will be hanged by the neck until you die. May the Lord have mercy on your soul. You have 21 days to appeal. Well greeted by severe wailings in the courtroom with the tipstaff shouting, "Silence in court!" This is relief for us, the judges.
Ransford Louis Metzger, AYV News in Freetown.
The Ministry of Youth Affairs, with funds from the United Nations Development Programme, has provided a sum of $964,018,651 as stimulus package to 187 youth-led businesses recovering from COVID-19. Well, the Minister of Youth Affairs, Mohammed Oman Bangura, says the set of young people selected went through thorough training and were able to defend their projects, which qualify them for the support. Here's a story compiled by Ransford McLean and read in the studio by Ransford Dubimetska.
The stimulus package for 187 young people was funded by UNDP to the Ministry of Youth Affairs to support businesses that were affected by COVID-19. The Interim Hub Director for Restless Development, Leslie Gaura, highlighted the criterion used to select some of the beneficiaries for the grant, particularly in the Western area.
From the 3rd, and the closing date was the 13th. From those 800 applications, we got 731. Those are the ones that were submitted by the deadline. Now, to ensure that there was transparency, there was no favoritism, there's no corruption, a committee was set up to deal with the selection of the young people. It involved representatives from the ministry, Restless Development, the National Youth Coalition, other youth CSOs, to ensure that there was clear representation of the youth sector within that selection committee. And it is this selection committee that then shortlisted the applicants down to 231. And then after those 231 were selected, they came for a pitching exercise in which they came to show, argue and defend their business, to show that I have an existing, or I had an existing business enterprise.
In an interview with AYV, the Minister of Youth Affairs, Mohammed Oman Bangura, says they were really keen on procedures so that the actual people will benefit. He added that they are pleased with the first set of young people to get the grant, and it is part of President Bio's promise to them.
We set the criteria and you allow people to do their job. Most times when you are the top, trying to influence things, it gets cumbersome, it gets difficult for people to do their job. We had Restless making very strong comment that they've never worked with a sector ministry that has got this level of transparency, accountability, and the level of speed at which we're moving. We had that again from the UNDP, we had that again from the civil society. To me, these are the gains that we are pushing. But one thing I always say, it comes from the type of leadership that we have, because he's the one that is motivating me. He's the one that will tell you, this is what I believe in, and this is what you're going in for, and this is what you're supposed to do.
Deputy Country Representative of UNDP, Saeed Sahib Zada, gave us statistics on how COVID-19 has severely affected businesses in Sierra Leone and said the support will go a long way in cushioning their impact.
In the wake of the COVID-19, business operations have been disrupted, with the youth and women businesses, especially those in informal sector, hits hardest. Small businesses and petty traders in informal sector are among those severely affected. In this context, and as the director of Restless gave a full picture of all the processes and where we are today, UNDP, through its rapid finance facility is supporting the recovery of that important number of 187 affected youth-led businesses in Freetown. The intervention contributes to the implementation of government response plan.
Lance for Dubi Metzger, AYV News in Freetown.
Now, the National Election Watch NEW has given the Sierra Leone police an ultimatum of 48 hours to return phones of observers allegedly seized by the security force during the Koinadugu District Chairman and Council elections. Now, NEW made this call during a gathering organized for CSOs and other stakeholders to report their findings on the election, which is described as violent and full of inconsistencies, according to the chairperson of NEW, Marcela Samba Sese. Salifu Cherno Kamara reports.
The just concluded chairman and council by-elections in Koinadugu districts were stained with allegations of fraud and violence. The theme of news reports to the wider civil society is "Election Violence Must Stop," which describes the by-election, the worst in the history of Sierra Leone. Chairperson for the election monitoring body clarified that the National Election Watch is mandated to monitor electoral process for free, fair and credible elections, not to observe violence. She continued to say that with what was seen in the by-election, the country's democracy is under attack.
Don't collect observers' phones at the polling station. And I want this to go to the Sierra Leone police that we are giving them 48 hours to retrieve our observers' phones. Or if they fail to do that, we are going to escalate. We are members of the West African Elections Observer Network. We are members of AFRONET, the Africa Elections Observer Network, and we are members of GENDEM, the Global Elections Observer Network. If our observers' phones are not returned in the next 48 hours, we're going to escalate to our network members, because we cannot accept that observers can be attacked at polling station. It does not happen anywhere in the world, anywhere. This is unprecedented, and we want to condemn it in the strongest possible terms.
Presenting the findings, Project Officer, National Election Watch, said the election day was marred with high level of violence, as he claimed that some were even perpetrated by government ministers.
At the RC school, a driver with a CRV, green-colored CRV, drove ferociously into the precinct of the elections. And so even when police were stopping him, he could not stop. Thugs were moving on top of bikes. There were notorious 8 bikes of 3 passengers each of those 8 bikes. I saw them myself at Sakuta. Sakuta is a village about 9 miles off from Bafudea. They were there accelerating their bikes at a very high speed while stationed in one place, causing noise. That caused voters that had come into the precinct to vote. They also stood by, could not access the voting center because they were afraid.
According to a member of the Strategic Management Committee for NEW, lack of security moved the tallying process from Koinadugu to Freetown. She noted that NEC promised to address all alleged discrepancies, a promise she says was not fulfilled.
APC reported that they have 82 votes, SLPP 49. NEC cross-checked their RF form, and it was very clear that SLPP had 49. But sadly enough, the figure that NEC entered into the system for SLPP was 149. The APC appealed to NEC to correct this discrepancy. NEC went ahead to read the provisional result. Commissioner Edmond Alpha told the APC that they will go ahead to read the provisional result, and if they have any problems, they can take it further.
The chairperson of NEW concluded by condemning an alleged assault of one physically challenged APC polling agent who had no police protection. Salifu Cherno Kamara, AYV News in Freetown.
The National Association for Pharmaceutical Students in Sierra Leone have organized the Global Health Emerging Leaders Program. The program, according to the president of the association, Ishmael Jallo, is to raise global health critical thinkers to understand emerging issues in health. Joseph Johnson reports.
The relevance of such a workshop is to help build young people who will understand global health issues, says the president of NAPSAL, Ishmael Jallo.
Well, today we are having the Global Health Emerging Leaders Program organized by National Association of Pharmacy Students in partnership with the Global Health Focus. And the purpose of this training, one of its objectives is to raise critical thinkers in global health, because when you talk about global health, it's to develop global health thinkers who understand the determinants of health and see how they can change some of these health issues that are affecting the world globally. We want to develop critical thinkers in global health who will be the change makers, and also want to see our students being recommended in various top universities around the world to become critical thinkers. And also, as we haven't done anything, Houston as a joint director who happens to be a lecturer at Harvard and also a lecturer at Sierra Leone, to see how we can form a network of global health students, researchers who can bring a change in global health issues.
The event brought together pharmaceutical students with Professor Don Prisno as course director. He explains the impacts the program will have.
So what is important is when these individuals who participate in the workshop will become global health leaders, then they are on the table making the decisions for global health decisions in the world. And because they are the ones who know better their health and the health of the populations, then they are the ones who are in a better position to make decisions at a global level.
Joseph Johnson, AYV News, Freetown.
More than 750 youth in the country are set to benefit from the Skills Development Project that has just been launched at the Government Technical Institute, Kisi Dockyard in Freetown. The project director of TVET at the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education, Dr. Victor Masakoi, says this will capacitate youth in high-demand courses and entrepreneurship skills. Samuel Ibrahim Koroma reports.
Don't sit down us for long, we'll not get that till they do. So when the program comes and say, it will benefit me. Don't born 5 picking there. So I want to empower myself so I go able to take care of my picking there.
I believe it's a good change towards my life and the country as a whole. Because I believe at the end of the program, where I don't can acquire my knowledge and my certificates, I will able to use them out and do something better for the country and the community where I belong.
The $22 million project, according to Dr. Victor Masakoi, Director of TVET at the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education, is designed to train 8,000 young people across the country in the areas of agribusinesses, hospitality management, building and construction, fisheries and mining engineering through vocational and technical institutions.
The skills development project is to ensure that we provide in-demand skills for young people that will not just benefit themselves individually, but benefit their communities as well as the country at large. That's the essence. And there are 5 areas we are looking at right now. We are looking at fisheries, we are looking at agriculture, agribusiness, we are looking at building and construction, we are looking at mining and engineering, and then last but not least, we are looking at hospitality.
The Skills Development Project is aimed at reducing crime rates among young people and promote self-esteem and contribute to tax payment. Principal at the Government Technical Institute, Kisi Dockyard, Engineer Edward Boyman Lamin, encouraged the trainees to take advantage of the program, stating that the project, upon completion, will transform their lives.
Aluminium fabrication, which is a new program I've introduced. We're doing carpentry, we're doing mining engineering, that is maintenance of mining equipment. We're doing welding. We're doing masonry, and block laying. It's a free and fair. As you were in the hall, I told them they should not give money to anyone. The government has paid for everything. Even the t-shirt they wore was produced by us. Let them be serious. So we'll reduce the crime rate in the country.
This is a joint effort of the governments of Sierra Leone and the World Bank, and the project primarily targets youth in the informal sector, with a provision of about 40% of its beneficiaries are women. Samuel Kuroma, AYV News, Freetown.
The Managing Director of Mercury International, Martin Michael, has promised to support the Dr. Kadisise Girls Secondary School in Port Loko with an amount of 100 million yuans for maintenance and administrative running of the school. He made this pledge during the first foundation ceremony of the school. Memunatu Bangura reports.
The Girls Secondary School, which construction was funded by Mercury International and was established on the 8th September 2020, was named after a prominent Sierra Leonean and former running mate of President Bio in the 2012 presidential elections. The construction of the school was part of Mercury's corporate social responsibility and to support President Bio free quality education in that part of the country. The managing director for Mercury International stated that he is passionate about the development of the school and implores pupils to concentrate on their studies.
We brought with us 3,000 exercise books, donated kindly by a friend of mine at Print Point Sierra Leone Limited. What we've brought here with us today is the spirit and energy that I think this school continues to need. We know that the finances are a little bit difficult. We know that there are issues about subsidies that were raised and all the rest of it. I have taken a tour of the school, and of course I noticed, and you always notice within 6 months or 1 year of construction, certain defects and certain issues. So, Madam Minister, I can inform you today that we will make available to you for the maintenance of the building and the ceiling and the roof, and maybe a little bit of coat of paint. I can assure you that when I return back to Freetown on Monday morning, we will put into the school's bank account the sum of 50 million leons to cover all of that. As you wait for your subsidy, as you wait for all of those issues to be resolved, I personally, from my own family, will also put into the account for the administration of the school another 50 million leons.
Principal of the school gives the school reports for the past 1 year.
The enrollment was 48 pupils. Currently, I can boast of having 110 pupils now. The number has increased as a result of demand for girls' education and the commitment of my teaching staff. Teachers enrollment. Initially, when the school was opened, I had 11 teachers. Currently, I have 12 teachers. It is worth noting that among these 12 teachers, 2 are degree holders and 10 certificates.
Patient Sise, head girl for the school, said she feels honored to be among the first set of girls to attend this school.
I learned a lot, like my responsibilities, because when you go to another level, you'll be studying hard to promote to the next class. Education is not a level. The higher you go, the more trouble you have. Here as an example, that is the one, what they have just said, Mr. Martin and the resident minister and also the principal put it in place and be an example for others.
As part of the foundation celebration, some deserving pupils were coronated as prefect, senior prefects, head girl, and other positions to help in maintaining the standards of the school. Memunatu Bangura, AYV News, Freetown.
This is Primetime News on AYV Television and Radio. Stay tuned for more stories after the break.
Been looking for a place to get quality education but don't know how
now aware? Canadian College of Modern Technology, situated at 1 Silicon Hills, Mile 91, opposite former Camp Charlie, is the right place for you. Canadian College of Modern Technology, an affiliate of Jalai University, is a fully accredited college with a Tertiary Education Commission, TEC, and a National Commission for Technical, Vocational, Other Academic Awards, NCTVA. We provide world-class tertiary education in computer science, business administration, mass communication, business information technology, Microsoft Server Administration, networking, database administration, building and construction, and other professional courses. Apart from its conducive environment, which makes it suitable for learning, Canadian College of Modern Technology is proud of its experienced local and international staffs. Come and experience a transformational learning environment, fully equipped with CCTV cameras, a world-class electronic library with the latest iMac computers for collaborative learning and research, and access to high-speed internet service throughout the campus. And guess what? Canadian College of Modern Technology is the first college in Sierra Leone to operate the first educational purpose-only television and radio station for its mass communication students. Come and be part of this historic experience. We have reserved a space for you. You want to know more? CCMC provides 24 hours electricity from a solar harvest power supply system with a backup generator. This highly secure campus also have a canteen, student hostels with clean pipe-borne water. Canadian College offers many more amenities for our students to help make learning a good experience. For more information, contact us on these numbers: 079-630-407 or 099-140-208. If you want to succeed, Canadian College will exceed your expectations. Canadian College of Modern Technology, a place where career begins.
Welcome back. I am Elizabeth Momo and this is AYV's Primetime News. Now, the Live to Lead Global Leadership Conference has brought together people from corporate fields in Sierra Leone to capacitate them on leadership principles needed to succeed in the 21st century. The event, according to the Executive Director of John Maxwell team in Sierra Leone, seeks to transform mindset to enhance development. Rena Jomorovia has more on the story.
The Live to Lead event is an annual conference that brings together global leaders to inspire others about leadership development skills through mindset transformation. For the first time, Sierra Leone is privileged to benefit from the conference through virtual link. Hosted at the Radisson Blu, the event provided participants an opportunity to share experiences and learn from each other. Executive Director John Maxwell team in Sierra Leone, Magnus Conte, speaks on the importance of the conference.
What we did this morning by bringing a panel of local, national people here was to bring the Sierra Leone context into the leadership and personal development conversation that we are having now. The key focus really today is about leadership principles. How do we start from a personal point of view, accountability, taking responsibility for ourselves as individuals, our personal growth, how we look at what's going on around us, and making sure that we impact people around us, communities, and impact the people that we lead.
The conference is being organized by John Maxwell team. Boy Jenejalo is a member of the team, and she explained what they do.
In the John Maxwell family, we don't only talk about leadership in the corporate world. We talk about leadership in the family. We talk about leadership in home. And we are all responsible to breed the next generation of leaders.
Speaking on his 21 laws of leadership, which includes among other laws, the law of influence and the law of solid ground, John Maxwell noted how helpful they are to enhancing good leadership qualities.
These laws, they're foundational for leadership. That's one of the reasons they work so well. They hit every culture of all time. And these laws, if you really follow them, they make you a better leader.
Ronald Jomorovia, AYV News, Freetown.
We now join our colleagues in London for news in that part of the world.
Thank you. Glad you could join us. This is AYV International News live from our studio in London with me, Alfred Jallo. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson promises to get on with the job of uniting and levelling up the United Kingdom. In his speech to the ruling Conservative Party conference, the Prime Minister accepted that there is a big hole in the finances of the UK and it is only responsible to raise taxes to fund healthcare. He said the country is on a trajectory towards a high-wage, high-skill and low-tax economy and pledges to plant more trees, increase rape prosecutions and tackle people traffickers. But the opposition Labour Party says Boris Johnson's conference speech had plenty of jokes but lacked any solutions, adding that it is disgraceful there was no mention of the petrol crisis, NHS backlogs or the cost of living. Thousands of priests have abused children. This is according to an independent commission investigating sexual abuse in France, which states that French clergy sexually abused more than 200,000 children over the past 70 years. Secret owners of more than 1,500 UK properties bought using offshore farms have been uncovered. According to a leak, property with an estimated value in excess of £4 billion of high-profile foreign politicians and individuals accused of corruption have been reported. UK government ministers say they will bring in a new law to deal with offshore property ownership. Successive Conservative governments have pledged to introduce legislation making it compulsory to name those owning property via foreign companies in a bid to stamp out money laundering. The UK government has reiterated its commitment to create a public register of overseas entities who own UK real estate in order to crack down on corruption. Campaigners have called for hatred or dislike of women to be made a hate crime in England and Wales. But UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson does not support this campaign, saying there is abundant existing legislation to tackle violence against women, adding that widening the scope of what you ask the police to do would just increase the problem. Policing of crime against women has come under scrutiny since the murder of Sarah Everard by a serving police officer. Will Cousin has been handed a life jail term after admitting the kidnap, rape and murder of 33-year-old Miss Everard. The case sparked a debate about women's safety as well as trust in the police and criminal justice system. This is it for now. For AYV International News with me, Alfred Jallo. Thank you for joining us.
And now in sports, Leon Stars and FC Cologne midfielder Saïdou Fofana's goal in the 42nd minute against the Scorpion of Gambia was enough to secure a victory in Morocco. Sierra Leone came from behind after the Gambia took the lead in the 22nd minute from a sports kick by striker Mamadou Cissé. Let's take a look at the match highlights.
Well, I feel good because everybody they wish for this, for play for your country and score more valid. For win and score the winning goal, like a bonus for me. Well, me doing now for make a right history and make sure say we are the coming. So I will try for left me mark. We at least tomorrow we people, other people that go can they will still remember me.
We make progress. I think say the first match against Sudan. We do all but play a very good match. Today we think against Europe play good but don't forget the result. As a coach, I'm very proud and I'm proud of my country. I think say we get progress small and I think say the boys they learn each and every day. And that's not the reason make we call many players and we can honor them fixture because you know so we get 3 games and we count 29 players. On the road we have somebody who are injured. So at least the change is not say that we fully or deliberately, but I think so we give everybody chance for we see more players who will not be don't say Spanish competition and the qualifier. So this game will put more for them. We see more of them for go to AFCON. Yeah, of course, even Gambia have get Juba, but